Hey, how's it going, guys? Jack and Matt here with the Toasty Bros. And the other day, I was cleaning out my garage at a new house I just moved into, and I found this beauty, this gem, this treasure.
And we have not turned it on yet to see if it actually works. It's obviously an older gaming PC, but does it work? Can we upgrade it? Can we make a game? Well, we're about to find out, but first, a word from today's sponsor. Today's video is brought to you by GVG Mall, the online marketplace to gain access to some really awesome discounted game keys, and more specifically, Windows 10 licenses.
With Windows 10, it is so easy just to go onto the website using the link in the description down below, and then go to the Windows 10, click Buy It Now, add code TB20, then go to the checkout, put in your payment info, and then boom, you will get within a few seconds or a few minutes an activation code that you will go into Windows 10, put in the activation code, and it is fully legit. It will work out of the box, and you will have a fully activated Windows 10 license.
We use GVG Mall for all the PCs we built here at the Toasty Bros, and so should you. So definitely check the link in the description down below and use code TB20 to save money on checkouts.
So I just moved into my new to me house. It's not actually a new house, it was really built in the 60s, but I moved in about a month ago. I saw this sitting in a corner in the garage in a really weird cubby that is pretty hard to get to, and it was backwards, so I could only see the back of it. There's nothing fancy about this from the back. It just looks like an old server, an old HP whatever, and I was like, you know, I need to donate this to PC Bros, maybe we can use the parts, but lo and behold, I go to pull it out, and I see this clear side panel, and I see all these other gamer aesthetics on it, and I'm like, man, we need to do a video on this thing because I know nothing about it. I don't know whose it was or anything, so it's pretty exciting.
So Jackson brought this thing in and we have not turned it on yet or even attempted to see if it works. So we're gonna plug it up, grab a Pixio monitor, because shout out to Pixio, they're awesome, and see if this thing actually works and then go from there. All right, while Jackson is setting up this PC to be tested, I want to give a shout out to Pixio for sending over this PX222 monitor, which is basically a 22-inch 1080p 75Hz monitor that's going to come in at about $150. We love Pixio monitors, and this is the cheapest monitor they offer right now. So if you are building a real gaming PC and you're not like testing out a really old computer like this, definitely pick up that monitor. But thanks to Pixio for sending us monitors so we can actually test computers like this. So.
Thank you guys. Yeah, I'm really liking this. I'm excited to see it turn on. I mean, the monitor will turn on, the PC might not. We're actually on twitch.tv/ToastyBros right now. We got a poll going. So what are we at now, statistically wise?
So 71% of chat thinks it's gonna work.
Okay, and I agree with those odds. I'm scared to plug this in, so real quick background story. I found a power supply way back in the day. It was free, it was on the side of the road for some reason. Got it home, plugged it in, and it blew up. Like, I'm not kidding when I say capacitor, it blew up so loud.
I wish we had that stream clip.
Dude, I'm having PTSD. Are you ready?
He's so scared.
I didn't like it. All right, I'll tell you what. Is the power button inside?
It is.
All right, Matt, you're gonna press the power button. I'm gonna be back here at the power brick ready to turn it off in case something goes haywire.
I'm so scared.
Oh God, it's on.
It's on, baby. It's making weird noises.
Okay, it kind of sounded like the fans ramped down a little bit, so post maybe.
But do we have... Oh my God, it's on!
It just works!
It turns on!
Look at that.
Disk boot failure, so there is no hard drive in there. That's a simple fix.
I wonder if we can get into the BIOS. Let me grab a keyboard real quick, because this would be cool if we could actually just go into the BIOS so we don't have to obviously, we're gonna take it apart anyways, but if we can get to the BIOS, this will definitely.
We can tell you all what's in there before we take it apart.
All right, so 1984 2008. So I'm going to, just a quick background, this is AM2 Plus. I know that much because based on the processor, the front says Phenom X3. And then also the motherboard says AM2 Plus in like huge letters. It's a gigabyte motherboard. So based on that, I was able to see AM2 Plus, it was in our lifetime. It was 2007 to like 2010. So I was like putting it right in the middle. 2008, looks like about right. All right, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna grab Windows 11 USB.
So we couldn't exactly find where in the BIOS for us to actually see all the specs, but we're gonna install Windows 11, which, are you just gonna actually check and see if there happens to be a drive in there by doing that? Because there may not actually be a hard drive.
I forgot there's not a drive, yeah.
So we might just wanna go to opening it up.
Yeah, we should, let's open it up, see what we got in it. We really need to give this thing a good cleaning because look at that fan. I mean, my goodness. And then, this is state of the art. We have sleeved cables. I mean, this is from like 10 plus years ago when we got sleeve cables, so pretty crazy. But yeah, hopefully we can just plug in one of these existing SATA, and then we have some SATA power cables. We even have these guys here. I mean, it's time for an RTX 3090 in this. Ooh. But yeah, so I think first things first, We're gonna clean, and as we clean, I think we go through and figure out what we actually have in this, because we have a few expansion cards. We have no clue what's under this heatsink, don't know what brand this power supply is, and those are things that we need to find out now. We just found out something amazing. So not only do we have like these little, cool swing out latches, this comes out, and I'm like, okay, that's kind of ahead of its time a little bit. Like 10 years ago, we got a handle back here. And when we open it, the whole motherboard tray comes out, like even the PCI stuff. So like, upgrades on this just sound so easy. You can just plop everything on there. This is like an open test bench, basically.
You kind of see the graphics card now.
Yeah, what are we?
It's an HD 3850.
Oh man, back when they actually had like pictures on them and stuff. And it looks like we do have a sound card. I think it's whatever logo they had on the front. So yeah, wow, this RAM is fancy too.
Yeah, 4 sticks.
You know what? At this point, we're just like
just looking at
opening
all
it.
stuff.
So we got some G skill. This should be DDR2. Yeah, 1066, which that was actually really fast for DDR2. CL5515. Those fast latencies. But yeah, I think this is like old Ripjaws.
Yeah, it's G skill.
Maybe. So. I don't know. It's hard to say if it's Ripjaws or not, but it is G skill. We got 4 sticks of it. But no, I mean, we're looking pretty good. So yeah, we really need to just take this. We got a lot of brushes. We do have air compressors in the back, but we want to make sure we're on Twitch, like I said, for the 5th time now. You guys better go freaking follow and sub right now. But we don't want the audience not to see what we're doing, so we're just going to go all hand cleaning to show that it can be done without compressed air.
And those people out there who were building PCs back in this day are just like, these guys are freaking out over nothing. I know this stuff.
I know, dude.
All right, so I just spent a long time deep cleaning graphics card and sound card. And Jackson, what have you been working on?
The longest we've ever spent. So I added some fun stuff. Right back here, we actually have a magnetic and adhesive RGB strip. I kind of like looped it over because I didn't want it to be seen. So once this is closed, you're gonna get all this RGB glow in here. And then also we added a 120 mil up here RGB fan in the front. We got one in the back here as well. So we have intake, exhaust, and then we actually have an ARGB hub up here that'll control all that stuff. So that'd be really cool because you'll be able to actually add more ARGB stuff in the future. It's just standard 3-pin, but we are keeping some of the fun stuff. Like we still got this fan here, runs on Molex. We still got like our OEM, basically all the actual parts are still the exact same. Cable management though, we're trying to make way better because that was pretty ugly. But yeah, so Matt actually did wonders in this graphics. I mean, just look at this.
It's fresh, fresh as could be.
Look at that logo, I mean, it's just beautiful. But let's go ahead and get that back in. That'll kind of help me with cable management. I usually like to make sure everything's like in its place so that I can really get a good idea. There's one IO shield missing, so we're gonna go all out and go ahead and get a little replacement going there. I'm gonna need to bend that and do some modifications.
So we're going to Jackson finish that, and there's a couple spots I'm going to touch up with the toothbrush that I see around here, and I think we'll be good to go.
I think we'll be good to download some, hopefully get Windows 11 on it. Worst case though, Windows 10. And then better get some games. I don't know what it's gonna play, but we're sure as heck gonna find out.
All right, guys, we now have this, well, ancient PC all booted up and ready to test some games. And we're gonna be testing some age-appropriate titles. Right now, we have good old Half-Life 2, which released around the time this PC would have been a thing. And yeah, we're looking at like 50 FPS, 50 to 60 FPS. I remember when this game came out. I didn't specifically remember when this game came out, but I remember that this game had like some really game-changing physics, and some of the quality was pretty good for its time. So this was a more demanding game to run, and this, well, now that we've done our research, budget PC is actually pretty capable.
You gotta admit, man, you have to remember the orange box.
The orange box, yeah.
I remember you got, what was it, Portal, Half-Life 2, and Gary's mod, question mark?
Portal, Half-Life, TF2.
TF2, okay.
Yeah.
You can't replace that generation, and I know we're actually live on twitch.tv/toasters, but chat has to agree with that.
But yeah, I mean, not getting 60 FPS, kind of weird, but you know, it's still playable. And back in the day, like if you were playing Half-Life 2 when it first came out on this system, I think you'd have a pretty enjoyable experience. We're all using like 3.5 gigs of RAM. The GPU is maxed out at 99%, so you in theory could upgrade that GPU to get some better performance. But yeah, it was not too bad. But yeah, I would say this is playable. We are on high settings. You could drop to lower settings if you want to get higher FPS numbers. This might totally break it, but we're just going to try real quick. God, look what happened to the FPS. So we're in the hundreds now. So yeah, this game is more than playable on this kind of PC. Now let's go ahead and try another game. 100 FPS, wow.
All right, guys, we are now testing out the original Left 4 Dead, and this game came out in 2008, so right around the time that we think this PC was born. So we're gonna go through, just make sure they're good. We're at 768. We definitely need to lower some of these because the menu's already kind of
lagging a
little bit laggy. We're gonna go like medium, because obviously the last game we played was 2004, so it was kind of just obvious that it would run fairly well even at like high settings, but this one I think we're just gonna need some slightly lower settings. Single player. Ooh, we've unlocked a little bit. Man, it's so weird, like the whole style of like the gameplay just feels weird. Everything was all slow. Man, I just remember like when this game came out, this was just like such high graphics, like just terrifying playing this on the Xbox 360. Oh, so good. All right, so we're getting like a solid like 60. And as we've said a couple times, I mean, you gotta remember, like, and we didn't even do some research on this. Like, you know, did they really have like 144 hertz? You know, like.
It looks like 144 hertz in 2012, 1440p resolution, and G-Sync 2 years later.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, it's pretty fair to say then that like most normal people would have been playing on like a 60 to 90 hertz monitor, maybe even, I mean, because they had 30 hertz too.
And this is running technically without a real driver.
That's a good point too.
So the performance could be a little bit better actually, but I mean, I'm not complaining on these older games. The only thing I feel like it's gonna really struggle is launching a game like CSGO, which yeah, it's easy to run, but it has gotten newer updates.
So realistic, dude. Whoa.
Realistic.
Like when I walk up to it, I'm doing it.
To be fair, compared to consoles were all running at 30 anyways. So like if you got at least 30, like you're still beating.
Kind of weird how short this mission was. Get in here.
All the missions you could easily speed run. Look at that.
That was like, no, I wasn't even trying to go fast and it was quick.
Left 4 Dead, it works.
The bot had more kills than us.
My God, but you know what? We have to answer the age-old question. Can it run Crysis? All right, guys, we are now in the game called Crysis. You may have heard of it. We are running on medium settings as what is defaulted to, but the only issue I've noticed, first of all, is we tried to launch this before, and if you hit full screen, it just totally crashes and also says that the like input is out of range on the monitor. Not really sure why that's the case. I do really think it has to do with the lack of a driver. This might be the first game where we're gonna have issues, but we're gonna hit new game again. And I'm just gonna let this try to launch. We're gonna be a little easy, boys, and see if we can actually get past this cutscene, because last time it locked up. All right, guys, I think we're actually in. I did not open up Afterburner, but you know what? We're just gonna run with this, and I'm gonna use my judgment to tell you what FPS we're running at, because I do not wanna break this. It's like actually working right now. I think this is a good 30 right now. Which again, this was a budget PC around the time this game came out. And this game, when it came out, was known for being just more demanding than any high-end PC could really run. That was the beauty of it. And I really hope there's another game like that at some point in the future where ultra settings just destroys any computer you throw at it. But yeah, no, I mean, it's something. It launched. We're not running full screen and we don't have a driver. So yeah, I would say 30 FPS is a fair assumption of what we're looking at here. It is definitely not 60, but it's working. And we are running at that 768 resolution, which is what you'd be using on something like this. If I get to the beach, I will try to turn MSI Afterburner. No promises this will actually work, but at least you'll see this if it crashes. Oh, game saved. Okay, here we are. All right, we're going to try. Multitasking is probably not this thing's strong suit. Oh, it hooked. Oh my gosh, it worked. Yeah, well, look at that. I was pretty close. Looking at 26, 25 FPS, below 30. The latency is really bad. But I mean, it's somewhat playable. We are very bound by our GPU right now, 99% usage on that 3450. But yeah, medium settings work, sorta. Let's go to the actual quality settings and try low. If I can actually change it in game, I'm not sure if I can.
Oh God.
Oh no. Oh no.
Mistakes have been made.
Well, you know what? Oh, it is. Oh, we're good. We're still good. Oh crap, we're almost to 60, baby. We're at 52. 45. Oh man. But hey, look at that.
52.
It can run Crysis 1, kinda.
Crysis.
Not on max settings. You know, let's break it.
And not remastered. Do not remaster
Yeah,
it.
not remastered. This is the OG. Let's break it. Chat, I know you all want to see very high settings, right? Are we going? It did like, I saw 2 FPS. Oh God.
Hey, I mean, props to the PC for not crashing.
I thought it would totally crash. It actually is working. 10
right
FPS
now,
though.
it's surprising. I'm like actually surprised the graphics card currently. I mean, this game might just be really graphics card demanding, but it is the graphics card at 100%.
Wow, I'm really surprised. This is actually working somewhat. Look at the latency.
Yeah. All right, guys, it has been a couple weeks now. We are back. So we got some upgrades here. We have this RX 462 gig, which we promised. We have this AMD Phenom 2, and this is a X6, so it's a 6-core processor with a slightly higher base frequency. And then we kind of realized last second, okay, that cooling that's in there is honestly probably enough to cool it. It's actually one of the nicer like AM2 plus coolers we've seen. It has nice copper heat pipes, good aluminum, but the fan's a little bit noisy and everything. And we've realized we had this on the shelf. This is the IceFlow T95 from our friends at Iceberg that sent this over a while back. So thank you guys for that. We're finally found a good use for it because it's kind of an interesting looking cooler, but we think it's gonna look perfect in this build because this is just an interesting looking build. I mean, it has blue RAM and everything. There's a lot of blue accents on the motherboard, and this cooler, look at that. There's all this blue on it, and it's up to 95 watt TDP. From what we were reading, this processor performs somewhere between the range of like 50 to 90 watts max. So this should be plenty for that. All right, guys, so we're getting into a game that we had a lot of trouble running last time. This is Counter-Strike Go, and we're actually at 1920 by 1080p now, as opposed to running 1024 by 768. So keep in mind that that alone is going to obviously cause a lot more performance drop. Gosh, I just can't. But yeah, so I mean, as you can see, our FPS counter is up here in tiny, tiny little letters. Look at this guy. He can't hit me. But yeah, we're getting around 60 FPS, like 60 to 70. There's definitely some stuttering here and there, but it's not anything like it was before. And the fact that we can play 1080p now is definitely nice.
Killed by Bob.
Bob. But no, I mean, I'm really excited to test this out and like some of the other games we tested because those games actually already perform like decent at 768. So it'll be fun to see if we can actually get some nice 1080p good looking performance in those older games, because this is a newer title. This thing, I think came out in 2012. I think it's time that we go ahead and throw it to the next game, since now that we know that this one's nice and playable at 1080p.
All right, guys, we are now back in Crysis, and this thing actually defaulted to 1080p very high settings, and we're only looking at about like 48, 50 FPS. This is like better than what we were getting at 720p all low, and it looks way better. I mean, Crysis definitely looks pretty nice still, even from 2007. I'm actually pretty surprised.
I'm actually really surprised at these numbers too. So now we can actually see the performance. Our graphics card's at 100%, and our X6 is at like 40 to 60%. So like, do we still have some headroom here?
We have some GPU headroom here, baby. Especially in a game like Crysis, that would be very GPU dependent. But yeah, we're getting some stutters here. I'm gonna see what we can do to get a lock 60. 60, oh, sky test. Whoa!
Whoa.
Whoa! That motion blur is so weird. Like,
interestingly enough, too, it actually like, which we have seen this in games before, where it added some FPS, but really not like a ton. We've kind of seen this in like Apex Legends too, where like we can go from high to like all those settings, and if it's like a capable system, it really doesn't add a whole lot of FPS. And back in the day, if you could run this game like this back in the day, you were considered a pretty cool guy.
But yeah, look at that. Crysis 1 playable. Let's try another one, shall we?
All right, guys, so now we're in Left 4 Dead 2, and we are now on high settings, 1920 by 1080p. As you can see, there's still a couple settings here and there that we could bump up, but there's no reason for us to do that. So, I mean, because we are getting around 100 FPS, we're not getting any like major drops. Let's go ahead and try to go through some zombies real quick and see if it changes. Yeah, this is way more playable. It's actually like not impossible to do anything anymore. You remember back in the day you had unlimited melee? You didn't have to, I don't know if it's still, because they patched it at one point. Nope, in Left 4 Dead 1 they have it, it's unlimited. Yeah, before we were getting like down to, I want to say like the 20 FPS range, and that was at 768, all those settings. And we're now, like I said, 1080p, high settings, no problem. And we've completed.
There you go, Left 4 Dead. Now, the last game we're gonna test is a normal, like, newer game. We're gonna run Shadow of the Tomb Raider and see how this thing can keep up in a game like that. But yeah, we gotta download that and we'll dive right into it.
All right, guys, we now have Shadow of the Tomb Raider because Matt and I talked about it. We're like, you know what? We need a newer game on there. You guys kind of knew that the older games were obviously going to run better, but this is a AAA title. So we're on low settings, 1920 by 1080p. We're gonna go ahead and run this benchmark. It might be capable of a higher FPS. We're not really sure yet. We don't really know what to expect in like a newer AAA title. It just came out a couple of years ago. So if this game runs pretty good though, we can kind of safely say that, hey, this thing can play some AAA titles at, you know, low settings, 720p, 1080p.
All right, guys, so we ended up getting an average of 30 FPS, which is somewhat playable. This is a newer AAA title, and it pretty much maxed this thing out. But yeah, we pretty much done everything we want to do with this system. Let's wrap this video up real quick.
All right, guys, so we just finished up benchmarking multiple times on this PC because we had to upgrade the processor, the graphics card, and the cooler. All in, we're probably thinking we spent around maybe 180, 200 bucks when you include SSD, processor, cooler, and the actual graphics card. So there is a slight upgrade path as well for the future. You could go with like an i3, like a B460M and some new RAM, and then you technically would have a whole new PC at that point.
This was kind of a lucky situation where we just found this computer for this video, but if we want to go out of our way to find older computers to bring them into modern gaming, then yeah, let me know down below if that's the kind of content you're interested in.
So as always, we hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, check out our other two YouTube channels and also our twitch.tv/toastybros, and do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
And we'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.
And hey, this PC is kind of old, so we got you with the new PC. Don't you worry at our PC selling business.
PCBros.tech is where we sell gaming PCs, gaming laptops, and things like that. I just realized Shadow of the Tomb Raider has just been playing this music in the background the entire time. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that ambiance in the outro. And buy a PC from us. PCBros.tech. See you guys later. Goodbye.